What it do? What it do? Post game.
What's up, my brother?
What's happening?
What's
ROB.
going on?
What's happening? What's happening?
Rob?
What's good? What's
I'm
good?
good. I'm good. How y'all?
Great, man. No complaints here.
Cool.
Yeah. The latest and greatest sports news. Y'all know what y'all came to see.
There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the latest and greatest sports news. WTP Sports News is at it again. Like, share, subscribe on the way in, and I got some magnificent men with me tonight. Rob, how you doing? The legendary, the living legend. Rob, how you doing tonight?
Man, I feel fantastic. 3-day weekend, 1 week of summer camp down. I'm ready to get into some sports talk tonight.
You did. And we got my homie.
What it
He
do?
won a City League TV. How you doing this evening, homie?
Blessed, man. Blessed by the best, man. Just loving and appreciating life, man. I'm gonna grow up to be like Robert one day, and you ain't gonna see these glares in my glasses because I'm gonna be able to pay to make them not glare like that.
That's what's up, man.
So I'll be like my big bro.
Hey, T1, we all got Rob goals, man.
Yeah, man.
We all got Rob goals.
Hey, and my cup not colored today. It's just plain white.
Okay. I can dig it. Well, fellas, man, let's not keep the people waiting, man. We got a lot of topics to discuss. A little NBA draft news, NBA finals. Where do you rank Jalen Brunson amongst the top point guards in the NBA today? Pretty Brown rebound. Angel Reese, her historic tear on the glass. Olivia Miles, her rookie campaign is just been simply fire. And what would you give up for Mr. Sorsby as he enters the NFL supplemental draft? College football news or question: who can't your team win the title without? And is this the most loaded group of quarterbacks we've seen in college football? So we'll get right into that. And I'm gonna start with the NBA. Darryn Peterson. So Darryn Peterson actually is only exclusively working out with the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards have the first pick in the NBA draft. A lot of people expect AJ DeBanso to be the first pick, but Darryn Peterson says he's only working out for the Washington Wizards. Rob, I'm gonna start with you on this. What do you think about this news? Because also something that came out was that Darryn Peterson was saying that the cramping issue was due to taking creatine. So do you buy that? And do you buy him being the first overall pick in the NBA draft?
I mean, it's very possible that he could be the number one pick in the NBA draft. And a guy who understands that, listen, I want to play in the NBA, he is not going to limit himself. In my opinion, I don't think any player will limit themselves to one team unless there is something being said to him behind the scenes that lets him know, listen, the Wizards are going to draft me, so I'm going to only exclusively work out for them because they already told me that they are going to pick me with the number one pick. Do I think AJ DeBanso should be the first pick? Probably so. But this young man would not just only be working out for the Wizards if there's other teams that's looking at him, and if the Wizards are not planning to pick him at number one. He must know some inside news.
Yeah, it's definitely either that or some arrogance on his part. But T1, what you got on this? Darryn Peterson only working out with the team with the first overall pick.
I really hope that it's not none of that ignorant Ohio arrogance, because we do have some people who don't know how to accept the positions that they're in when they're in a great position, and he's in a great position to where he could possibly go number one overall. But I mean, just like Rob said, he must know something we don't know, because I think that that's a bad move. That would show some character issues actually, if you don't have this inside scoop where the Wizards are saying, hey, if you just show us what you can do, we know what you can do, we want to see it with our own eyes, we're going to take you through some things, and if we're impressed with your workout and what you do, we're taking you number one overall, so you don't have to go work out for anybody else. So I'm hoping that it is something like that, because I'm not for sure if I've ever heard of anyone just working out just for the team that was drafted number one overall. So I'm hoping that's what it is, that he has the inside scoop. And I believe, yeah, he absolutely could go number one overall.
What do you make of him saying that his cramping issues throughout the college basketball season was due to taking creatine supplements?
We always have to come up with something. That's just the way we built. We have to give. Unfortunately, we have to give some type of explanation. Some people will call it an excuse to why we were injured this much, and that's just the one that he's given us. So I'll take it. I'll buy it. Okay.
What about you, Rob? You buying that?
You know what? I'm buying it because I feel like he's a guy who knew he was going to be one and done, and I'm quite sure he wants to get his body as big and strong as possible. And creatine is a way that a lot of players have done that in the past, and his body could just have had a different kind of reaction to it that caused him to cramp up. He probably wasn't doing some other stuff along with taking that creatine that probably would have helped him keep from cramping, like he probably wasn't staying hydrated enough or something to that effect. But I could definitely buy it. I mean, because anytime you start messing with stuff like that to improve your body mass, uh, you can always have some kind of adverse reaction, and dehydration could possibly be one of those side effects.
Let me ask y'all this, because it's interesting, because I feel like Debassa is in the lead for the first pick, but I feel like the Utah Jazz would be the perfect landing spot for AJ Debassa, seeing as though he played at BYU. If he didn't have those cramping issues, do y'all think he would be the the favorite for the first overall pick if he didn't have the cramping issues?
You
You're
said,
talking
do we
about
think?
Peterson, correct?
Correct.
I don't think it's. I don't. Once they bring them in, they're gonna pull every single piece of bone, muscle, ligaments, tendons. They're gonna check everything out. So I personally don't think that it's a huge deal, but they're definitely gonna pull in their specialists so that they can try to figure out what's up with his body. So I really don't personally think it's a huge deal.
I really feel like from the limited sample size that we got to see of Darryn Peterson, if he played as much basketball this past season for Kansas as the Banser played and has Boozer played, I definitely believe he would be the number one pick, probably hands down, because you would have got to really see all the stuff that he could do. We've seen enough of a sample size to say, listen, this guy's definitely a top 3, 4 pick. He would probably definitely be number one if we seen him play as much as we got to see those other guys play. So I think for sure he can be a number one pick because he is really that freaking talented, bro.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, him only working out for the Washington Wizards really either shows how confident he is or he's getting some bad advice. But either way, there's been players who skipped workouts with other teams and got passed on by the team that they thought they would get picked by, and got picked the very next pick. So that's an interesting watch. Fellas, we all talked about the NBA Finals and the New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs, and what a hell of a finals we just witnessed. But I got a question for y'all. Jalen Brunson went on a tear to send the San Antonio Spurs home, dropping 45. Where do y'all rank him? When you think about guys, point guards like Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, SGA, and players like that in the NBA. And I'm gonna start it off with you, T1. Where do you rank Brunson currently amongst that field of point guards?
Certified short killer, man. Certified killer. And we're going to have to now, people got to understand he was killing last year. You know what I mean? I mean, he been on a circuit and he been doing some things. And not to get off subject, but it's amazing when you think about these teams who be trading away these players and then they get to these other teams and they just become great. I mean, he was good when he played with Dallas. You know what I mean? And he was on that team with Luka. So you have to think about what's going on in some of these front offices. But man, right now he got the ring. So right now he holding that. He right there with Shea. He is right there with Shea in the way that he actually dominated these playoffs. And anytime his team needed a big basket, he was there to get it. So you gotta love a crunch time player too. And he's a crunch time PT peer, man. And right now, I mean, who you gonna take over? And I ain't taking nobody over. And just to be honest, if it is, it might have to be Shea. But other than that, man, he right there. He tied for the number one spot with me.
So you taking him one?
I got him and Shea 1A and 1B. So I'm gonna just flip a coin on who I'm gonna take because I gotta take Shea because he is certified killer. I saw his ID. So, so I can't put nobody in front of him. But what Brunson did, I can't put nobody in front of him either. Right now at this point.
So you tying Brunson and SGA. I can dig it, man. What you got on this, Rob?
Yeah, I'm putting him right behind SGA. I think SGA is number one. I mean, but like T1 said, it could be 1A, 1B for real. I mean, but I'm gonna go with SGA at number one and Brunson at number two. If Steph Curry, man, was to be healthy enough to play a whole season or to even get to the playoffs and do what we've seen him do over a decade and a half, I would probably put him a little bit ahead of Brunson. But right now, no, he's number two on my list that Brunson is. And I really like what he's been able to do the last two seasons, especially at New York. New York had a chance to make it to the finals last year, but they ran into that Indiana team that was really hot. But this year, he led his team all the way to that title, and he was one of the main pieces that allowed them to win the title because in that last game, game 5, in that second quarter, he went off, man, and he brought his team back and got them ahead before the halftime. So I would put Brunson at number two.
I like it. I can't be mad at any of those rankings. But if you asking me, as of today, who's the number one point guard in the NBA, I gotta go with Brunson. I think overall, like if you ask me, like if we not just talking about right now, I would say SGA. But we talking about right now, and as of today, Brunson is the champion. I gotta rank him one overall. Any closing thoughts on this subject? No.
Not at all. I'm
Let's move
agreeing
to
with
the.
that.
Go ahead.
Nah, I just saying I'm agreeing with everything. Even with Rob putting him down there too and keeping SGA up there. SGA a bigger body, so I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Shout out to my homie. It's me, Ballard, He said, "Hats off to Brunson and Luca." Yeah, no doubt about that, man. Those point guards are definitely some dogs. I love where the NBA is going as far as the point guard position. But let's move to the W, fellas, and we're gonna talk a little bit of Pretty Brown Rebound, aka Angel Reese, because I feel like people not breaking her game down properly. So I brought some numbers with me, fellas. Angel Reese is at 12.3 rebounds per game thus far this season. She set an all-time WNBA record by averaging 13.1. I believe this was during her rookie year. Have you ever seen a woman dominate the boards like? Because the thing is this, I always hear people say silly things like, "Oh, she needs to work on this," or "She needs to work on that," or "In a few years she'll be averaging 20, 25." No, no, that's not the type of player Angel Reese is. She's a defender. She's a dominant rebound, the most dominant rebounder in WNBA history, in my opinion. That's her game. And guess what? That's a championship piece to a team. Even if when you talk about the men's side, if I got somebody on my team who I know is going to crash the boards and be dominant on the boards, I want that player on my team. Not everybody can rebound at that clip. So, Rob, I'm gonna ask you, man. I'm gonna start with you. Is this the most dominant rebounder you've ever seen in the W?
It is. She's the most dominant rebounder that I've seen in the WNBA to this point. The reason why I say that is she understands what her game is, and she goes out there and she makes that a part of what she is as a player. That's her brand. You know what I'm saying? We're calling her Pretty Brown Rebound, and the country calls her Pretty Brown Rebound for a reason, because of course, how she looks and her claim to fame, which is rebounding the basketball. The thing I like about her the most is the fact that you don't necessarily have to put her in a set in your offense, because you already know that if she's in a pick and roll situation and you shoot the shot, she's clearing herself so she can get a rebound and put it back in. And that's where she's going to get the majority of her points. So her goal is to get 4 to 5 to 6 offensive rebounds a game and get some putbacks, or either get to the free throw line, which is where she's going to score her points. And I think that's brilliant for her to understand that. Now, eventually, her offensive game will come, and she'll still be a dynamic rebounder. But I think once her offensive game comes and she has a couple of moves that she can do, then maybe she'll get in the offensive flow a little bit better. But the rebounding is her claim to fame, and I think she'll always do that. And I think she's the best that we've ever seen so far in the WNBA.
No doubt. What you got, T1?
I don't have to say much. I mean, he said it all, and he said enough. She's like the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA. One thing she's gonna do, and you can count on her, is she gonna beat them boards up, whether on the offensive or defensive end. So, I mean, she's the best. I mean, Rob summed it all up.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think people make a mistake when they compare. Like, I think the comparison to Caitlin Clark was so unfair, and it had to come from casual fans who don't know nothing about basketball. Because first of all, you're comparing a point guard to a post player. Like, I get the rivalry, but those two games aren't comparable. He's just talking about their games, and it was a little unfair to Angel Reese, in my opinion, because she's not going to score 30, 40 points. That's not her game. Her game is being a defensive monster, getting rebounds, and she can even handle that rock a little bit. So I just felt like a lot of people were being unfair uh, when with some of the criticisms towards Angel Reese's game, where her game all along has been being a strong rebounder and defender. But we're gonna stay with the W. but I want to take it to the rookies. Olivia Miles, and I don't like tooting my own horn, but I've been saying this since the college basketball season. Olivia Miles is going to be a monster and is a monster in her rookie campaign in the WNBA. She's been incredible. She's averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. I think the thing that wows me about her game is her ability to pass the ball. Like she sees plays before they develop. And no offense to her or anyone who wears glasses, but that's the amazing part. She wears goggles during the game and she sees everything. You know what I mean? Not saying people who wear glasses can't see everything, but I've always found that fascinating. Man, check out her totals. Last night she had 31 points. Game before that she had 12. Game before that she had 29, 24. Olivia Miles has been on a tear. If you could go back, do you think Olivia Miles should have been selected first overall, T1?
I mean, she putting in the work like this. I mean, unfortunately, they don't have the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? Because you have the players who they think will come in and dominate straight off the rip. And I don't know, and maybe you can help me with this. I don't know what they projected Miles to do once she got to the W. But do you think they projected her to come out blazing on fire like this?
I think they expected her to be good, but I don't think they expected her to be this good. Because you got to remember, when you talk about uh her the Minnesota Lynx, they're first in the West. Their best player has not played a second this season, Ty, and they're first in the West ahead of the Aces. She's having a tremendous rookie campaign, bro. If I could do it again, I would take her first overall over Fudd, over Betts, over all them, because she's a generational point guard. What say you on this, Rob?
I mean, but time out. She went second overall, right, in the draft. She went
She went.
second overall.
She went. No, she ain't go that high.
She
She ain't go
wasn't
that.
second.
No,
She went in the top 10, but she wasn't second. She went in
no,
the top
absolutely
10, though.
not.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't second. I don't know that I would have selected her number one, but what we see her doing is really phenomenal. But I think there were so many guards out there that are really really talented guards, that she may not have been what they were looking for in terms of her skill set. But I mean, they couldn't have went wrong with drafting her number one. I just think that the team that selected number one, was it, did Fudd go number one?
Yeah, Fudd
Yes.
went number one, and I'm looking
Yeah.
at it. She did. Miles did go number two. Fudd went number one. Miles number two. Fam
Oh, she
three.
did go two.
Betts four. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Miles
Perquez
did go.
five.
Miles went number two. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, there's no way in the world I would have left. I would have the first pick in the W and not have taken Olivia Miles for. She's blowing Fudd out the water, and I know what Fudd can be as she continues to develop. She could be a sharp shooting three point shooter and a scorer. But there's just no way I'm passing up on the versatility of Olivia Miles.
You know them ones and twos be hard though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm quite sure that who was that had the first pick? I'm quite sure they might be kicking themselves in the rear right now. Like we blew it. You know what I mean? And Miles is out here killing it, and they probably couldn't sleep that night thinking of if they was gonna take Fudd or Miles. You know what I mean? So, that one and two right there. Sometimes that number one pick is almost a bad spot to be in, and especially if you just don't have that generational player that is going to come in and just take over the W. You know what I mean? So, that number one pick is tough, and I mean sometimes to me going number two is just as good as going number one.
No doubt about that. Uh, so let me ask y'all this question: Olivia Miles is she's dominating as a rookie. Like I mentioned before, Nafisha Collier hasn't played a second. She's the best player on that team, and they're first in the West without her. Why isn't she getting the type of hype like, say, Caitlin Clark? Why do y'all think she isn't getting the type of hype she deserves?
Well, Caitlyn was, that was an intentional blow up. You know what I mean? That was intentional. Not saying that she wasn't a great college player. And now we're seeing here with her in the dub. Um, if you ask me, and I'm not looking at every game, I don't see everything, but I'm not hearing the noise that she brought along with her from college. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I just feel like the reason probably is because when you look at Olivia Miles, she has a marketable look to her in terms if you're thinking about somebody like Kurt Rambis, or you're thinking about somebody who's going to play second fiddle on the team, but she doesn't necessarily have that marketable look that you think teams would want to put out there in the forefront. And I think that's the reason why they're doing her in that manner. But her skill set, the way she plays, she's definitely a really good WNBA player and is very marketable. I just don't think that they see her as a person having the necessary look that they want to put out front. I mean, like I said, she has the glasses. She sort of has that lunch pail Kurt Rambis look to her, but she's a really really fantastic player, and I just don't think that they see her as somebody who is somebody that can market.
I'm gonna go off of, yeah. Hey, post game. That was a good one right there. But I think I kind of understand what Rob is saying a little bit. It's like they want to see some type of it factor within your presence, or just anything, whether they're creating you or you done created your own little personal image or whatever, whatnot. Just like Angel Reese, her thing is to show her beauty and not look like one of the regular basketball players that may be married to another basketball player or whatever, whatnot. She showcases her beauty, and I think when it comes to advertising the W, I mean, you have to have that marketability like that you're talking about, and I'm guessing that they have to look and carry themselves a certain way if they're going to put them out in front, as the WNBA needs to have not just one or two front row runners to build their lead up. So, maybe they may need to take a look at how and for what reason they're building some of these players up, and maybe put a few more players out there in front to give the WNBA a little bit more exposure so they can fill up those arenas everywhere.
Yeah, strong points, fellas, man. Shout out to Pretty Brown Rebound. Shout out to Olivia Miles. If you haven't caught Olivia Miles this year, I strongly recommend whoever's listening out there, check out Olivia Miles. Her game is stupendous. Well, let's move on, fellas. Let's talk a little Brandon Sorsby. So we all know Brandon Sorsby isn't going to play college football this season. I think that's a win for college football, the game, the integrity, all of that. But he's entering the supplemental draft. Now, some notable players to come out in the supplemental draft have been Bernie Kosar in 85, Chris Carter in 87, Brian Bosworth in 87, Jamal Williams in 98, T1, one of your guys, Terrell Pryor in 2011, Josh Gordon in 2012. Now, how this kind of works is that the teams actually bid for a player. So let's just say, Rob, your franchise needs a quarterback, and Brandon Sorsby is there. you willing to bid a third round pick. If nobody bids a first or second round pick, Brandon Sorsby is yours or is on your team. So that's kind of how the supplemental draft works. What's up, Thomas Gonzalez? Uh, so I'm gonna start with you, Rob. What would you give up to get Brandon Sorsby if you're a QB needy team? What kind of draft capital would you give up for?
Man, I can't see myself giving up anything more than maybe a third or a fourth round pick. I'm definitely not giving up a first or second rounder for Sorsby. I I I hear what Texas Tech thought they were going to get out of Sorsby, and he was going to be a difference for them, and he probably is going to turn out to be a decent quarterback. I just can't see myself giving up a first or second rounder for Sorsby. A third or fourth rounder at best will be all I could do for him, and I wish I could get him for a fifth rounder, but that's probably not going to happen. Somebody's at least going to give up a third rounder for Sorsby, but I definitely wouldn't give a first or second.
What team? And I'm gonna ask you this too, Ty. But I want to stay with Rob for a second. What team do you think is most likely to make a bid at him? Is it Carolina? Is it the Jets? Could it be my Colts? Could it be the Browns? What team do
Hold
you
up,
think?
watch your mouth. We have a quarterback. I'm not sure why you put us in there, post. You know I'm sensitive, but go
No,
ahead.
I got something for you, man. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me 1 second, people. 1 second. I got something for Mr. City League team.
But hey, come on, post, man. I don't know why you. See, y'all be trying to get me started, man. But go ahead, man.
Here's the thing, though. I'm just throwing out teams. You don't have to mention if you don't think the Browns are interested in getting Sorsby. You don't have to. I'm just throwing out teams off the top of my head. But go ahead, Rob.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, man. Any quarterback, any team in the NFL that needs a quarterback, I wouldn't even waste my time on trying to get Sorsby in the supplemental draft because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be sorry anyway. So you're going to probably have an opportunity to get one of these really, really good quarterbacks that's coming out next year. I wouldn't even waste my time with Sorsby because 9 times out of 10, he's not going to come and play for your team this year. But if I had to pick a team, I'm just going to pick the Jets because the Jets seem to always find a way to F some stuff up.
The Jets, okay. Ty, what do you think his value is? What kind of draft capital would you give up if you one of these teams? We're gonna X out the Cleveland Browns, but if you Miami, Arizona, Carolina, any of these teams, what kind of draft capital are you willing to give up to take a shot on Sorsby?
I have to agree with Rob again. Rob is on fire today, man.
No doubt.
If I'm an NFL exec, and I don't know why they pick and choose when they want to look at people's characters, I have to look at this young man's character. Now, do I believe in second, third, and fourth chances? Unfortunately, I believe in people getting chances, but you have to look at this young man's character, and you have to figure out if he's a good fit in your locker room. Now, this is a leader of your organization. Your quarterback is the leader of your whole organization, the face of your organization. So I have to look at his character, and just like Rob said, we already talked about the quarterback class for next year. Like, I'm not best I might be able to give you is probably maybe even a fifth. Like, he's saying a third, I might be like in the fourth or fifth range. Like, your character should not even allow you to get drafted before the fifth or sixth round. Like, you almost automatic seventh round because we don't know what you're gonna come in here and do, and I mean, to get caught gambling that many times, man, It means you have a problem, and now we're talking about giving you money, and now we're talking about you being a leader and being around other players, and some of these players might have a little gambling thing, but not as addictive as yours, and now you want to slide in and be like, oh, you could just do it this way, and all of that. So I'm looking at the character, man. I ain't giving up. I ain't giving up nothing. I don't want it.
What if you're the Miami Dolphins? You just signed Malik Willis. Would you take a shot on Brandon Sorsby to see if you can kind of develop him into that quarterback you need for further down the line?
He had to get the Shador Sanders treatment. We ain't gonna we gonna give you like a $20 contract. You can get a $20 contract, and you're gonna have to earn every single thing that you get. You're gonna have to prove that you can come in here and be a leader, and that you cannot be out here gambling. You're gonna have to prove it. It's a very low contract. It's not a lot of money at all, because we don't know what you plan on going to do with this money. You're gonna have to show us that you are revived and you're a different man and all of this stuff. So, like, then in Miami, he can't handle that. You know what I mean? Bookie's in Miami.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Rob, if he was in the normal draft in April, what round do you think he would have went in?
This past draft,
Yes.
he probably would have been in the third or fourth round had he been in this past draft. I think he ended up at Cincinnati to where somebody would have took a chance on him, took a reach on him maybe in the third. But he's more of a fourth, fifth round guy in this last draft. This last draft had a lot of talented players in it, and I don't think anybody was really high on the quarterbacks that were there. So somebody probably would have took a flyer on him and got him in the third, but I feel like he was no better than the fourth or fifth round pick. And if I was Miami, I think Quinn Ewers is better than him. That might sound like I'm being a homer, but I think Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback than him and got a bigger upside. If you start Malik Willis, then I think Quinn Ewers will be a better backup than Sorsby.
Gotcha.
Hey Rob, you don't have to be a homer if you're speaking some truth. I would agree with you. I already told you on fire tonight. I agree with you right there. Yours is better. You know what I mean? I think so, easily, for real. But yeah, I just agree with you one more time.
It's not homerism if it's the truth. I'm with y'all on that 100%. And yes, Mr. Brown is on fire per usual. But fellas, Ty, you want to take a shot at that before we move on? If he was in the real draft, what round do you think he would have went?
Are we talking about with his baggage? Because we see how baggage could make you just fall. So we just say, if we going off how everything is going, like this, his gambling stuff was hot when the draft was going on. So he's either seventh round or he's not getting drafted.
All right, fair enough. So I got a question I've been meaning to ask y'all. Rob, I know you rock with Texas heavy. T1, I know you mess with the Buckeyes heavy. So I want to ask y'all this question, and I'll start with you on this, T1. We can't win a national title this season, your Buckeyes, without who? Let's say, God forbid, someone
Right
gets
now,
injured.
it's gonna be just insane. We don't have enough. We don't have enough experience in that quarterback room for somebody to come in and lead this horse, man. We don't have enough experience now. Could somebody come in and pull a Cardell Jones with all the experience we have and the defense that we're gonna have? Absolutely, but we need saying. I don't need for him to get hurt. We need him. If Jeremiah Smith went down, Lord forbid that he doesn't. We're very deep, and we're very deep all over the place, except for quarterback. I feel like we can, if Bo Jackson goes down and we have to go off of that, or Jeremiah and we have to go after that, I think we're all right. And then probably in second place, it might be one of the most important linemen, or it might be one of the centers. But we have some very versatile linemen, so maybe not with that. But just my one player, it's my QB. I don't have anybody behind him that I could feel like can go and orchestrate this offense with precision that he's shown that he's able to do. So I'm gonna have to go with Sane.
See, that's interesting that you say that because I'm sure if one take Zay was on, he's been real big on St. Clair as y'all backup. So you saying the one player y'all can't afford not to have is saying you not going Jeremiah Smith on this?
No, because I feel like we too deep at the wide receiving position. We're too deep, and you know, like he's always going to eat in these games, but I just feel like we're just way too deep at the wide receiver position, and I feel like we done added the one most important thing that we're going to need to our offense, which is saying getting out of that pocket and going and picking up yards with his feet, which is something that he didn't do last year. So that's just going to add a whole nother dynamic. And when your quarterback is able to pick up those first downs for you that we missed out on last year and it cost us in some games, it'll just take your game to a whole nother level. But I just feel like we're just too deep in that wide receiver room for one player. And as dynamic as he is, I just feel like we're just too deep for, if he go out, you know, for somebody to not be able to step up.
So you don't have a lot of faith in St. Clair?
I haven't seen enough of St. Clair. I know what he can do, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do come the following season after this season. I'm excited about it because he's pretty dynamic, but y'all know you got to go play that game. They all were great in high school. They all were the best of the best, and they were head above everybody out there. And it's just a different animal once you get to that Big Ten and that SEC and the ACC, Big 12, wherever you at. Division I football, it's a different animal, and as we know, all of us we follow our teams. It's a whole lot of 5 and 4 stars that come in and don't produce the way that they're supposed to. And then on the other end, there's a nice batch of 3 stars that come in and be amazing.
These are facts. Rob, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Texas can't win a national championship this season without who?
Man, I mean, I have to say the quarterback because if you look at all of these top teams that are in the country that got a chance to win the national title, and I think once we look at a lot of people's preseason rankings, and if you look at those top 7 or 8 teams, we feel like any one of those 7 or 8 teams can get on the heater and win it. But when you look at every last one of those 7 or 8 teams, they are going to have some really good freaking defenses. And so if Arch Manning is not there, then there's no way that Texas can win a national championship because of the defenses they are going to have to face to even get there. So I'm going to say Arch Manning for the simple fact that he can do so much. He got a good arm. He got legs. He's going to really help their running game because you got to worry about him pulling it and going out the back door. So I got to say Arch Manning. I want to say Colin Simmons because I know how much he's going to affect the defense. I mean, the other team's offense in a Will Muschamp defense. But I got to go with Arch Manning because of the fact that those defenses that he's going to have to be facing if we make the playoffs.
How much faith do you have in Lacey and or Bell, your backup quarterbacks?
I can see Lacey coming in and being able to beat a team or two, but I would not want to roll him out there in some of them big whole high profile games, especially on the road. We got to travel to LSU. We got to travel to Tennessee. We got to travel to Texas A&M. I just don't see him being able to. I mean, we got to see what it was like for Arch Manning when he rolled up into the shoe. So we already know that you don't roll a new guy out there in those kind of environments. So yes, he can beat some teams that's on this schedule if we had to use him. And I got confidence in Lacey. Bell, not so much. He hasn't been healthy. He hasn't really been able to do a whole lot because we expect to redshirt him, and we don't want to even have to even think about putting him on the field because we want him to get 100% healthy. Because his last two high school seasons, he was not healthy the whole season in either one of those seasons.
So just so I'm clear, you can still win a championship without Simmons, but you can't win one without Arch. That's what you're saying, right?
Oh, without a doubt, Texas got some defensive ends that could. They're not going to be as dynamic as Colin Simmons, but they got some guys that can get after the quarterback. So that will be that. That's an easy one. That's an easy one.
Got you. Well, fellas, y'all know the team I talk a lot about and I cover a lot. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. You asked me the same question. I'm going to say the quarterback position with CJ Carr. And it's simply because I love the depth at every other position except quarterback. Except quarterback. Then we have CJ Carr there. There's nobody else on that roster at the quarterback position that has taken a snap in a college football game, if I'm not mistaken. So if you asking me who Notre Dame absolutely needs this season to win a national championship, it'd be CJ Carr. Any closing thoughts on that, fellas?
Everybody pick quarterbacks.
Mm.
Everybody pick quarterbacks, and I don't know if that's the easy answer, but who can win without their number one quarterback? You know what I mean? Like it takes you have to be a really special quarterback to come in and produce in the same manner as your first string, and that's hard to do. And we've seen it time and time again. You know, whether it be collegiate or the NFL, that number one go down. It's going to be hard for you to stay afloat. Now you may win some games, and but you just never really can get over that hump and get to where you want to get to unless you're Ohio State.
I wouldn't have said that last year. I wouldn't have said quarterback was the most important position for Notre Dame because they had Kenny Minchie back then. But I mean, hey, quarterback is the most important position, right? So everybody need their starting quarterback.
No, but guess what? I wouldn't have said it next year either because we had Kinghost back there who was a 5-star. So my thought would have been if Sane would have went down, he would have been able to come in and, it might have took him a game or two or something, but we still would have won. But he would have been able to come in and get to where he needed to be. So I probably could say the same thing. I probably would say the same thing, and it wouldn't be my quarterback last year.
Absolutely. I think Kinghost is going to ball out for the Louisville Cardinals.
He is. He gonna ball out. He gonna ball out.
Yes, sir. Well, fellas, why we talking about quarterbacks? Julian saying Manning, Carr, Chambliss, Stockton, Mayava, Reed, Bailey. The list goes on and on and on. There are absolutely magnificent quarterbacks in college football this upcoming seasons. And the reason why I mention these names is I got to ask y'all, and I'm going to start with you on this, T.Y. Is this the deepest the quarterback position has been? As long as you've been a college football fan, my man, is this the deepest you've seen the quarterback position in college football?
I'm going to say as far as with their college experience and what they've been doing in college, I'm going to say it's pretty good. But I'm going to say I don't know how much trust I have in too many of these quarterbacks being franchise quarterbacks at the next level.
Just college football. Don't
Yeah.
even
College
think
football,
about the NFL.
man. I think that there's a lot of quarterbacks out here with a lot of experience that's really, really good. You know what I mean? And yes, I'll say yes. That is deep. If we're just just answering the question, yes, this is a deep quarterback class, and I would love to be wrong about when they get to the next level. But yes, this is a there's a lot of talented quarterbacks out here this year. You still don't even have some, and I'm quite sure that there's probably another 3 or 4 quarterbacks that could go on that list.
Man, that's a really good question, man.
I don't have anything. I couldn't hear nothing post game. Just
My
said.
bad. I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's I just want to name a few. There's a lot.
I'm about to say it's a lot. It's some QBs out here. If we just talking about producing on this college level, it's some QBs out here that's gonna light the world up this upcoming season.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be a fight for that O'Brien Trophy this year. It's gonna be a real live dogfight. There's no front runner. There's nobody that you can say, oh, they're gonna win it hands down.
Yeah, I mean, Lenore Sellers can bout. Man, there's so many quarterbacks.
There's a lot more that you can get out there. Like just saying Sellers, I like Sellers. You could even talk about the quarterback that's up there in Michigan. He was just a freshman. You see, he has all the tools. He has every single tool that you would need for a handyman to have. So, man, there's a lot of quarterbacks. I could even see Ken Holtz down there in Louisville coming and passing about 3 or 4 of these cats you got on your list.
100%. Rob, what you think, man? Is this the deepest the quarterback position has been in college football that you've seen?
Man, it is really, really deep, man. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was a draft. I mean, not a college season. I think it was '83, where you had John Elway, Dan Marino, and Jim Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm quite sure there were some other guys that were in that '83 season as well in college. I mean, but man, that was decades and decades and decades ago. So I'm gonna say, yeah. I think what we're looking forward to seeing this upcoming season, in terms of these quarterbacks that we're going to be seeing play against other top tier quarterbacks week in and week out, this has got to be the best season that we've had in a while. I remember when we had Tebow, Colt McCoy, and Sam Bradford. And that class, too, had a lot of talented quarterbacks in it as well. But I'm going to say yes to this class. It's the freshest that's on our mind. It's super talented. And guess what? Several of these guys are going to be facing several of these other guys during this season. It's going to be freaking incredible. You're going to have Sade and Manning. You're going to have Manning and Chambliss. You're going to have Reed and Manning. You're going to have all kinds of stuff. Now, Carter, I don't know who he playing because they ain't in a conference. No, I just think you folks.
Missa.
Hey, the freshmen down. I know I'm a Big Ten man, but I don't know all the quarterbacks in all the other conferences. But I don't see Oregon's quarterback on here. I don't think. And like the freshman, who was that?
T1. This is not a list. I'm just naming off a few, brother.
I know, but no. Like we were just saying. I mean, we said at the beginning of the show, this quarterback class is something different. You know what I mean? It's something different, man. It might be about 20 of them. So the cream may get the rise to the top, and we may get some dynamic quarterbacks coming out this class.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even mention Darian Missa. We didn't even mention the quarterback from S. Bro,
Yeah, that's all I was saying. That's all I was saying, Post. That's it.
But that's the point, my man. It's the depth of at the quarterback position in college football is absurd. Like I know I've been watching college football probably since late 90s, early 2000s. I didn't have a choice. I woke up on Saturday mornings and turned on cartoons, and my dad came in and put it on Notre Dame football. so hey, you feel what I'm saying?
Respect the Pops. Way to go, Pops. You get them cartoons off that TV and look at some clanging and banging out here.
For sure. But that I can't remember going into a season like thinking and seeing like this amount of depth at the quarterback position. This is and if even if you want to add in the prospects of these guys going to the NFL, like how many quarterbacks are going to be drafted from this field of the guys that are eligible is truly unbelievable. Am I tripping, y'all? Let me know if I'm tripping.
Not at all. Not at all.
Tripping, bro. You're not tripping. Man, we could probably see 20 freaking quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds, bro.
Man, we are gonna see a lot in the first 3 rounds. Next year they may break a record for everybody. Gonna get a good backup quarterback next year at least. Everybody gonna have a good backup quarterback waiting in the wings that could just sit and learn. So some of these quarterbacks may pan out to be something great because they just now may have the opportunity to go and sit and learn and not just get thrown out into the fire.
Is there a quarterback out there that y'all can think of off top of y'all head that's not getting a lot of buzz but can creep in that elite tier of quarterbacks for the upcoming season?
Say that one more time, bro.
Maybe Josh Hoover at Indiana.
Josh Hoover at Indiana, that's a good one. I actually, if there's a quarterback that isn't being really talked about amongst the elite tiers of quarterbacks in college football, that you can see creeping into that elite tier.
I don't want to name any, but yeah.
I kind of like. Go ahead, Rob.
How big is Jennings at SMU? How big?
He not big. He not big at all. He might be just clearing 6 foot. Might with cleats on.
If he had some size, I would throw his name in that hat. If he has some size.
I still think he a baller though. I still think he can.
I do too.
Like with the offense. Well, what's their coach name at SMU? Is that oh man, I can't remember his name, but that his offensive system is crazy. I think Jennings is gonna have a bounce back season because we gotta remember that team was in the playoffs 2 years ago. But I mean, for me, I like guys like Connor Wegman at Houston. I think the way that roster is set up, the weapons he got, he can absolutely ball. I'm sure if SEC Sean was here, he would agree. But man, again, there's just so many quarterbacks in college football. I'm sorry, I have not seen anything like this. Any closing thoughts on this, fellas?
Agreed, man. It's deep. I mean, the more we get to talking about these sports, man, I get excited about it. And I wanna apologize to Moss B, man. I was trying to catch the podcast yesterday and I let the time get away from me. I really be trying, like when I'm available to get on, I be trying to get on, you know what I mean? But I could lose track of time real quick. So I want to apologize to Moss B, Level Up Sports 10. I wanted to be on yesterday. I wasn't able to be there. And I'm glad we're not from New York because we would have said pause like 37 times tonight. So I'm glad to be from Columbus to 614. I appreciate it. I love it. And I love my brothers, man. This WTP Sports Dudes thing is real, man.
Yeah, bro. I'm not a fan of using. You know why I don't use pause?
Because you're not
Because
from New York, son.
yeah, that part. But it to me, when you say pause, that's when you start thinking about the weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like why he say pause? Oh, you see what I'm saying? But I'm securing myself. I don't need to say pause.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we ain't got it. I was just, I just be thinking about a lot of crazy stuff that go on in the world and just how people can make something up and have other people following them as if it's something dope. That ain't dope enough for me to follow. But I will call you son, God or King. What's up, God? You're God. We gods. I like that when they were saying we was gods. I can't get down with the false thing.
100%. Rob, you got any closing thoughts, my man?
I'm anxious to see how all of these quarterbacks pan out, man. And I think going into next year's NFL draft, and I'm hoping I can make it there in DC. I feel like this past year we had so many talented players across the whole entire board in terms of all the different positions. This next year, I feel like these quarterbacks are going to take some draft positioning away from some of these other players at some of these other positions because it's way too many of them at the most important position on the football field to not take one to either have as a backup or your future down the road, man. I just feel like these guys are all going to get an opportunity at some ball club to play at some point in their career, or at least be a career backup somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. This has been another marvelous, outstanding podcast with the two homies, Rob at WTP for Life and T1 of City League TV. My homies, I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
y'all. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we out of here. Peace.